Hi there, my name is Mac. In today's tutorial, I want to show you step by step how to create your own personal membership website using WordPress. So let's take a look at what the website looks like. So here we have the main landing page. By the way, you can make your membership about pretty much anything. In this example, I chose to go with the health and fitness membership website. So what happens is if we come over here on the get started, this now is going to take us to the main page for the membership. So this is become a member. So these are the three membership levels that we have. So we have the VIP here. So I show you step by step how to create all of this. So let's say we decide to go with the VIP. If I click here on sign up, we have this VIP membership sign up page. So it has the pricing and also a video here. This could be a sales video. We also have a bit of description of what the membership is about. And here we have a single testimonial. Okay, so when they sign up here, when they click on sign up, they are taken to either PayPal or Stripe, depending on what payment option you choose. And then they are now going to get access to the information over here on the dashboard. So here we have these three blog posts. So as you can see, this one here is a VIP membership. So if someone here from the free tries to access this, they're going to get an error message, which means that your content is protected based on the membership level. So I'm going to show you step by step how to create all of this. So this is the best way to make money with your WordPress website. So if you have some sort of knowledge or expertise, you can monetize that by putting it behind a membership website. So it could be knitting, it could be sport, it could be cooking, baking, whatever you are specialized in. You can use this type of website to actually make money with your website. I also show you step by step how to create a template for your blog posts. So if I take a look here, you can see that we have this beautiful layout. We can also have videos in here, and all our text here looks very well formatted. Okay, so first things first, before we get started, you need to have great hosting for your membership website, and it also has to be super fast, because if you're going to have a membership website which is slow, all your members are going to be frustrated. So the hosting company that I recommend is SiteGround. If you use the link in the video description below, you get 75% off, and I will also give you lifetime access to Funnels to Income, where you get access to over 14 courses that will teach you how to become a great designer. All right, so let's take a look here and see what's on offer. So if I click on Get Now, so we have the Startup, we also have the Grow Big and the Go Geek. So what you may consider doing here is to go for this one here. It's £4.99 per month, but if you're in the US, it'll show up in US dollars. Now, the reason why I like this is because you have this ability of installing unlimited websites, whereas this one here is only one website. But if you're sure that you only want to have one website, well, that's cool. Okay, so we also have a free domain here. So let's go ahead and click on Get Plan. But before I do that, I also want to mention something very, very important about this hosting. Daily backups. So daily backups are very, very important, because you can imagine if something was to go wrong with your website and, get hacked or something, you need to be able to get up and running super fast, because all your subscribers will not be happy, and it's going to take you a very long time trying to rebuild this website if you don't have any backups. So this is why I highly recommend SiteGround. So once you're ready, all you have to do is to click on Get Plan. So here, if you have a domain name, you can just go ahead and type it here. But if you don't, you can register a new one here. And this is also free for the first year, which is fantastic. In my case, I already have a domain name, so I can always come over here and add my domain name. I'm going to click on Proceed. So this is where you need to enter your email address and password and confirm it here. This information here is very important, because this is what allows you to log into your SiteGround account. So you need to make sure that you enter the correct details here. Next, you want to enter, your country, your first name, last name, and so on. And then here is your payment information. You just need to add your card, your expiration date, and so on. And then finally, you come all the way down here, and this is going to show you your deal. And as you can see here, it has applied the deal from $19.99 to $4.99 a month. And then over here, you can proceed by saying I confirm and then pay now. Now, once you've purchased it, you are going to get your login details for SiteGround, and this is what is going to enable you to go into the SiteGround control panel. Once you log into there, you can then install WordPress. So once you've installed WordPress, it will look something like this. This is a blank version of WordPress. Nothing is installed here yet. So I'm going to come over here and just clean it up a little bit. So usually I just go ahead and get rid of all these things here on my dashboard just to clean it up. So the next stage now is to upload all my images that I need for my website. So I'm going to come over here to my media, click on library. So I've already gone ahead and downloaded some images. So this membership website is going to be a site for fitness and health tips. So let's click here on add new, select files. And all my files are in my downloads folder here. So I'm just going to highlight and select all my images and then click on open. So this just makes the process of building my website easy because I don't have to keep uploading images as I'm building my website. The next step now is to plan our membership website. So in this example, our membership here is going to comprise of VIP, member, and free. So the VIP gets access to everything, and the member just accesses the membership information. And then the basic here is just all the free stuff you decide to give away as you are working on your membership website. So the next step now is to create these categories. So let's go ahead and do that on our website. So I'm going to now come over here to post and then click on categories. So as I mentioned, my first category here is VIP. So I'm just going to go ahead and edit this one here and just rename it to VIP update. And then we're going to go back to categories and add the next one. So this one here is called members. Add the slug and then create your category. And then the final one is the free. So now that we have all our categories in place, the next step now is to create our homepage. So I'm going to come over here to pages, click on all pages, and then let's add our homepage. So at the moment, I'm not putting any content on it. I'm just creating the pages because we are going to do that at a later stage. So I'm just going to say home and then publish. We are also going to need a few more pages. So I need the dashboard. So I'm going to come back, click on add new. Let's call this dashboard, publish. And we may also need a support page. So let's go ahead and do that. So this is all we need for now. So as we add more pages, we can just add them as we build our website. So now that we have all our pages, the next step now is to install our page builder. So I'm going to come over here. So the one we're going to use here is Elegant Themes Divi. This is a very, very powerful page builder. And I have a design guide that I created, which is going to make the designing of this website very, very easy. All right, so I'm going to come over here to my account and click on downloads. So I'm going to go ahead and download the theme over here. And by the way, I have a link to Divi in the video description below. If you purchase it, I will give you access to my Divi Jumpstart course, a course that will teach you how to design professional looking websites with Divi. All right, so let's come over here now and go to appearance, click on themes, and then we're going to add a brand new theme by clicking here on add new. Next, I'm going to click on upload. And then I'm just going to drag and drop it here. Another way of installing it is just to click here where it says choose file, and you can then navigate on your computer and find where it is. Next, let's click on install now, and then we can just go ahead and activate it. If you purchase MemberPress using my affiliate link, you get 50% off. The link to that is in the video description below. Next, let's install our membership plugin. So I'm going to come over here to MemberPress. So here I'm going to go to my downloads. I'm going to copy my API key. I'm going to go ahead and click on download MemberPress. And then back over here on my site, I'm going to install it as a plugin. So I'm going to come over here, hover over plugins, click on add new, upload plugin. Again, I'm going to drag and drop it here, or you can just click on choose file and then search for the file on your computer. All right, so now that I've uploaded it here, I'm just going to click on install now, activate plugin. Okay, so now let's click on get started. We need to activate it. So I'm going to click on activate. So here I need to enter my username and password to MemberPress. So I'm going to click on submit. So this is the activation process, by the way. Okay. So now that it's activated, all I have to do now is to click on continue, but I don't want to go through this whole process here because I'm just going to do it later on in the process. So let's go ahead and go back to dashboard. Okay, so now you can see that MemberPress has been installed. The next step now is to install our Divi design guide. So I'm going to come over here to pages, click on add new. The Divi design guide is free when you purchase MemberPress. Just let me know by sending me an email to mac@funnelstoincome.com and I'll send you the Divi design guide. And let's call this page style. Use Divi Builder. I'm going to click on start building. So my style guide is here in my downloads folder. I just have to double click it because it's a zipped file. Okay, so this is the file we need. I'm just going to drag this over to my other screen here and then click on build from scratch. So to install it, all I have to do is to drag and drop it onto the page. So I'm just going to click once and make sure you're clicking on the right file. This is the .json file, okay? Drag, drop it here. And then you need to make sure you just click on replace existing content and import presets and then click on import Divi Builder layout. So this Divi design guide just makes the process of designing our websites easy because I've pre-designed all the modules for Divi. Because if we were to go in and redesign every single item, this will take us a very, very long time. And by the way, this goes for $27. The link to that is in the video description below. But if you buy MemberPress, I'll give you this for free. All you just have to do is to let me know that you've purchased it. So let's take a look and see what our design guide is comprised of. So you can see here we have headings, different styles. We also have different types of buttons here, the text, notice boxes. We also have blurbs here as well. So as you can see, everything here is pre-designed for us. All we have to do is to select it as we are designing our website. Okay, so let's go ahead and start designing our site. So for now, I'm going to click on publish and keep this page open because we want to reference it as we're designing our website. So let's take a look and see what our website looks like. So I'm going to open this in a new tab. And as you can see here, we have a massive dashboard here, which has not been updated properly. So we need to go in now and create our menu. So we're going to come back to our dashboard, go to appearance and then click on menus. So we're going to create our brand new menu, assign it to the primary menu and then click on create. So I'm going to view all my pages here and then I'm going to select the pages that I need to add to my menu. So definitely it's going to be the home, the support. So for now, let's add the home and the support page. And then save. So if we refresh this page now, you're going to notice that this has been updated. Now we have the home and the support and there is nothing here on the pages because we haven't added any content. Okay, so let's start designing our main homepage for our website. But before I do that, I need to set my website as the main homepage because right now this is set to the first blog. So back over here, I'm going to go to my settings and then click on reading. So now I can choose my home page like that, save changes. So now when I come to my site and refresh the page, you're going to notice now that we have our home page and now we can enable our visual builder. So for this design, we're going to build from scratch and we are going to start off by adding a full width header. So I'm going to select my full width here, select full width header, snap this over to the left so I can see what I'm designing here. So remember, I mentioned that we have a design guide, which is right here. So we can choose what style we want to go with. So I prefer having this style here where it's dark and I have my content over here on the left. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to now come over here to default and I'm going to choose dark and left. So it's this one here. I'm going to select it. And right away, you can see that this has been updated. All I have to do now is to add my subtitle. And then I also need to update my text over here. So I'm just going to get rid of quite a bit of it. And then on the top here, I can add my main title to my membership website. And for my button here, I'm just going to say get started. Now let's scroll all the way down here and go to our background and add our image. So I'm going to come over here, click on this area here, and I'm going to go to my library since I have all my images. So we need to decide what image we're going to use. So let me try this one here, upload image. And it doesn't look great because I can't really see what is happening, but we can always change it to something else. Let's try this one here, upload image. Let's go with that one. I'm going to hit save. Now, all I have to do is to drag this to the top because this is going to be my main part of the website. All right, so let's add some content over here now on this section. So I'm going to click now on this plus button, and I'm going to add a 2/3, 1/3 column like that. And on the left here, I'm going to add a few blurbs. So let's come back here and choose the style that we're going to go with. So I'm going to scroll down here, and the style I'm going to go with is this one here, number 5, because I need to add some bullet points. So let's get rid of some of this text here. So I'm going to add my text in here. I'm going to choose my preset here to number 5, and then I'm going to choose my icon. So I'm going to say use icon, and I need a check mark, and the one I'm looking for is this one right here, and then I'm going to save. So I need a few of these, so I'm just going to duplicate it a few times. And then over here now, I need to add an image. So I'm going to search for my image module and select it. So let's say this membership is run by this lady here. Upload image. There we go. And then save. So I can see here this is too small, and my text here, okay, this doesn't look right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to swap this over and just drag this column up like that. And now you can see that everything has swapped over, and I think that looks much better. So all I have to do now is to change the sizes. So I want this one here big and then small. Okay, that's great. Now let's add a bit more text here. So I want to add a text module. I'm going to select that and then paste my text in here. So I need a heading here. So I'm going to select this text and make this heading 3. And then all I have to do is to come over here to the top and click on text. And this now is going to update my text. So as you can see, this makes the designing of my website much, much easier. All I have to do now is to drag this to the top. And these are the reasons or the benefits of why you may want to join this program. Okay, so let's continue on. Let's add another section by clicking here. And this is going to be a regular section. And we are going to go with a single column here to start off with. And for this, we're going to need a testimonial. So let's go ahead and select it. Now let's add our content here for our testimonial. And we also need to add a name. So let's call this Anna. We don't need the company and the job title, so we're going to leave that as it is. Next, we're going to come over here to the image, and then I'm going to choose my image from here. Now I have some images. I'm going to go ahead and select that, upload image, and then I'm going to choose my style. So I'm going to come over here and go with style number 2. Okay, so now that I have this all set, I can now go ahead and save. So we want 2 of these. So I'm going to come over here into my row settings and then just duplicate this one here. So now you can see we have 2. I mean, we can even go ahead and add another one, and now we have 3 of them. So all I have to do now is to go into each and every one of these, update the contents. So I'm going to go into this one, change the image. So I'm going to select this one here, upload image, and then we can just change the name. So maybe this is Susan. Let's update, and then you can do the final one here. So to distinguish these 2 sections, we need to give this one here a bit of color. So I'm going to come over here and just give it a very slight gray. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to start off with black, and then I'm just going to drag this up until I get a very, very light gray, just to distinguish these sections. Okay, so I think that will work. I'm going to go ahead and save. And I also need to add some sort of section title here. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to click on this plus button, add a single row. And in that row, we're going to add some text. I'm going to select that. And then I'm just going to hit enter, add my text. And here, we're just going to call this testimonial. And let's set this to, say, heading 3 as well. And now over here on the top, I'm going to click on this drop down, choose text, and we are going to center it. So I'm just going to highlight everything here and center it. All right, great. I can save this now and then drag this to the top like that. And now we have a section here which has a title. So far we've created our main hero area. We also have this introduction area here talking about what this membership is about. We also have some testimonials. We may also want to add some FAQs, but we'll decide that later on. So let's say our homepage has been designed now. This is great. The next step now is to go ahead and create content for our membership. So let's go ahead and do that. So we are going to start off by adding our blog posts. So I'm going to come over here to all posts. So right now we only have hello world. So let's go ahead and trash this because we don't need that. And we are going to now click on add new. So this is going to be our very first post. Now notice that when you add your post, you need to go into the default editor. Okay, so you want to make sure you add all your posts in the default editor. So I'm going to start here by adding my title. So I'm going to paste it. I'm going to add my text in here. And you know what? Let's also make this text here a heading by selecting it like that. Okay, so that's great. The next step now is to make sure you add this content to the right category, because remember we created our categories earlier on. This is what's going to determine what our subscribers are going to have access to. So I'm going to come over here now, go to my post, and I'm going to scroll down to my categories, and I'm now going to decide whether this is going to be free, for members, or VIP. So let's call this VIP. Next, let's add our featured image here. I'm going to click, and the featured image I'm going to add is, let's go with this one here. Set featured image. And then we are going to publish. Okay, great. So that's our first post. So this is how you need to add all your blog posts. So make sure you add all your content here, and you need to assign this to a specific category, because this is what's going to allow us to give access to our subscribers, as I mentioned earlier on. So go ahead and add all your blog posts. So for this post, we're going to do something a bit different. I'm going to add a video onto the post. So I'm going to come over here to share, and then I'm going to copy my URL from here and then paste my video. Okay, great. So now I can hit update. Now let's go back and see what our posts look like. So we can see here we have 3, but I've made a mistake. I have 2 VIPs here. So what you can do now is you can do a quick edit by coming over here, and you can just make sure that you add it into the right category. So this one here needs to go into free. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Click on update. And now you have content in the VIP, members, and free, which are our membership levels. Okay, so now that we have this all set, the next step now is to head over to MemberPress, and let's add some settings over here. So first of all, I'm going to come to memberships and add our memberships. I'm going to click on add new. So this one here is going to be called VIP. That's our main one. You can add your description text in here. Over here to the right, we can set our price. So let's say this one here is $2.99. So you can also decide whether you want to have this as a one-time or you want to have it recurring every month. So this is what you need to think about before you make this setting here. So I'm going to make this one here one time, and then I'm going to scroll further down. Now, I'm not going to worry too much about all this information here about the shortcodes and so on, because I'm going to come back at one point and recreate my pages. Okay, so now that I have this, I'm also going to come over here to my featured image, and I'm going to choose my featured image. So I'm going to go with this one here and click on set featured image and then publish. So that's my first membership level. So next, go ahead and add your other 2 membership levels. Okay, so you can see now I've added all my membership levels, my VIP, my members, and the free one. So the next step now is to add my rules on who is going to be able to access my membership levels. Okay, so now let's go ahead and click on add a rule, but you can always come over here to the left as well. So I'm going to select that and add my first rule. So I'm going to say add new. So I'm going to now select my content. So I'm going to say all content with category. So here I'm going to choose post categorized, and then in here I'm going to start typing. So I know I have VIP, and here it is. I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to come over here to my access conditions, click on this drop down, and then I'm going to choose the membership itself. So the membership is my VIP membership. So I'm going to go ahead and select it. So what is happening here is, now that I've chosen my membership, these are the only people that are going to be able to access my VIP categories. Okay. Next, since these VIPs can access everything, I'm going to go ahead and add another level, membership level here. And this one here is going to be my members. And then finally, it's going to be my free. Okay, so this means the VIP membership level is going to have access to pretty much all the categories. Fantastic. Let's go ahead now and hit save. Let's do the next one. So I'm going to click on add new. So this one here is the same as we did before, post categorized. And this one here is membership. So this here is selected. I'm going to come over here. So I'm going to choose my membership here, and it's going to be members. So that's all they're going to have access to, but I also want them to have access to the free stuff. So I'm going to click here and then membership free. Great. Let's go ahead and save. And we have the final one now. And this one is for the free members. Click on add new. Let's go ahead to categorized posts. And we're going to search for our free. And these guys here are only going to be able to access the free stuff. And that's about it. If they try to go and access the VIP, they will get an error message. So now let's go ahead and save. The next stage is to add our payment method. So I'm going to come over here, go to payments. All right, so let's add our payment method. I'm going to click here on this plus button. So we have Stripe. I can connect my membership website here with Stripe, but I can also choose an offline payment. That is if you want to use, say, for example, WooCommerce, because there may be a situation where you can't use Stripe from the country you're from. So you'd need to choose offline payment and then connect this with, say, WooCommerce. So I can also choose PayPal standard here. And I'm just going to add PayPal like that. And I can add my PayPal email address and then click update options. So the next step now is to set our redirect. So we want that when people log into the website, they go to the dashboard, which is going to be our main page. So remember, we created this page earlier on. So I'm just going to go ahead and view it so you can see it. So there's nothing on it at the moment. So I'm just going to copy the URL like that, and then back over here, making sure you're on the account tab. You want to scroll down until you get to login, log out. So you can just click on use MemberPress login page URL, and then we're going to redirect after login to our dashboard. Okay, this is very, very important. And then you can say URL redirects. So this could be just to our main website. All right, so now that we've done that, I'm going to go ahead and update options. The next step is to create a page called Become a Member. So I'm going to come over here and click on Add New. Let's give the title. And we are going to use the Divi builder for this. We're going to build this from scratch. So let's start off by having 3 columns. Let's add our text module for this. Okay, so we are going to name this VIP and set this to heading 1. And then I'm just going to center this and come over here to the top and choose my text preset. All right, great. The next step now is to add a brief description of what the VIP membership here is about. So let's go ahead and add a text module again. I'm going to paste my text, come over here to the top, choose my preset here, and we are also going to center this. Okay, great. The next step now is to add my check marks of what this is comprised of. So I'm going to search for my blurb, and I think it's number 4. So let's add our check marks here. I'm going to delete all this text. In fact, this is number 5. It's not number 4. Okay, so now I can choose my icon by coming over here. And here is my check mark. fantastic. So let's go ahead now and save, and I'm just going to duplicate this a few times. So that's what you get with the VIP, but I'm not done designing this. I'm now going to go into my row settings. And in the first one here, I'm going to click on this gear icon, go to my design. And then I want to come over here to spacing and give this a spacing of, let's say 4% all around. So you'll see in a moment why I am doing this. Okay, so now that I have this 4% all around, I'm going to come back over here and give this a background color. So let's go ahead and set this to a really dark gray. Yeah, I think that works. And finally, I just need to give this some rounded corners. Let's go ahead and go with 3. I'm going to save that. And finally, I also need to add a button in here as the call to action. So let's go ahead and add it. So I'm going to say get started. All right, so we are going to come back and add our link later on here. So let's go to our design, go to our alignment, make sure this is centered. And then on the top here, I am just going to go ahead and choose my button style, which is this one right here. So as you can see, it's all designed for me. I'm not spending too much time here in the design, which is fantastic. I can go ahead now and save. And this is what my VIP is all about. So all I can do now is perhaps maybe make this text easier to read by just going in and changing the color. So I'm going to come over here and go to my text, set this to white, do the same over here, set this to white as well. Okay, so you want to go ahead and just update everything else here, and obviously the VIP as well. Set this to white. So the next step now is to duplicate this so that we can fill up these 2 spaces. So let's go ahead and go into our row settings and let's delete these 2. We can just duplicate this like that. And this now has saved us a lot of time. So let's go to the middle one here and you're going to go to the background. So this color here, we're going to bring it down a little bit because we really want this one, the VIP here, to stand out. So we're going to save that, save one more time. And then in here, I'm just going to get rid of a few of these. So let's get rid of this one and that one. And I'm also going to change VIP here to membership. And then finally, this one here is the free one. So let's name this free. Set this to heading 4. And we're also going to change the color. So we're going to come over here to heading 4, set this to white, save that. And we are going to delete quite a few of these options here and maybe just leave one of them. Okay, just to show that the free one doesn't have much going on here. The next step now is to add the pricing of our memberships. So I'm going to add another module here. So remember the price that we added. So I'm just going to add my text module first. So I think it was $2.99. So we can just come over here and add the $2.99 like that. Highlight it, center it, and make sure it's set to, say, heading 1. So I'm going to highlight it, set it to maybe heading 2 will do. Okay, I think let's set it to heading 2. And then all I have to do now is to just set my color. So I'm going to come over here to my heading text, heading 2, and set my color. All right, let's go ahead and save. And then all you need to do is to add the prices to the other 2 columns. And I forgot to mention that we also need to change the background here. So let's go ahead and do that quickly. So I'm going to go straight to my background over here. So I'm going to come over here to my row settings, go to the 3rd column, and then go to the background. So here I can adjust it. So I just need to make it slightly lighter than the other ones. So I think that will do. Let's go ahead and save. Save one more time. The next step is to add a title to this section. So you're going to go ahead and click on this plus button, click single column, and add our text module like that. So I'm going to say our memberships and give this a bit of a description. And then I'm going to highlight the text here and set this to heading 3. And then I'm going to highlight everything and center it. Over here to the top, just make sure you select text. And if we take a look at it now, you can see we have a perfect section title. So all I have to do now is to drag this over to the top. So now that we have the Our Memberships page, we also need to create the page which takes the payments. So let's go ahead and do that. So we need to create 3 pages, the VIP membership and the free one. Okay, so I'm going to leave this open here. So let's go ahead and create our new pages. So I'm going to come over here and click on page. So let's call this pay VIP. And we're also going to use the Divi builder here. Now, remember, we created our memberships earlier on. So let's come over here to our memberships because we need the shortcodes from here to enter onto our page. So I'm going to start with the VIP here. I'm going to click on edit, and the VIP shortcode is all the way at the bottom here. So all you have to do is to click on membership shortcodes, and the one we need is right here at the bottom. So I'm going to highlight it and copy it. Next, I'm going to come over here to our page, click on build from scratch, and we are going to add our single column. And let's add a text module in here. Select it. And then over here in the text mode, I am just going to paste the shortcode that I copied a moment ago. So let's go ahead now and save. So in a moment, you can see that this is the information about our pricing and the VIP where the people can now come over here and pay. Okay, so now that I have this, let's further style this. So I'm going to come over here to my module settings. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to choose my text here. And now you can see that everything has my main font. And then over here, I'm just going to reduce that. It's a bit too big. So I'm going to come over here and set this to about 16. All right, so that's great. I'm going to come back over here to the background and give this a bit of a background color because everything here is just too white. So I'm going to select white and then click anywhere in here, drag this down a little bit to add a bit of gray. And then I need to give this some breathing space. So I'm going to come over here to design, spacing, and let's give this 4% all around. So I'm going to copy that and paste it over here and apply my little chain icon. And then finally, I want to come over here to the border and set this to 3. Let's go ahead now and save. All right, so that's our payment page. That's looking great. We also need a section which tells us more about the membership. So let's click here on this plus button and add a regular section. We're going to go with a single column here. And let's add some text like that. We are going to highlight this and let's add our text here, VIP membership. And let's add a bit of a description to this. And then all we have to do is to highlight the top here and set this to a heading 1. And then over here to the top, I'm just going to choose my text preset. And now everything is all set. The next step now is to highlight everything and center it. And then let's go ahead and save. So I'm going to drag this all the way to the top and we can just give this a bit of a background color. So let's click here on the section settings, go to background and right, let's give this a color. Let's go ahead with that and save. And then finally, we just need to go back in here and flip the colors and make sure it's easier to read. So I'm going to start here with my heading, set this to white. Go to my paragraph text, click on this little icon here, set this to white. So now it's easier to read. I can go ahead and save. So what you need to do is to do the same on the other 2 pages. But for now, what I'm going to do is I am going to save this page and publish it. And then I'm going to exit the Visual Builder. So what we're going to do now is we are going to connect this to this VIP here from our members page. So I'm going to come here, copy this URL like that, come over here to our members page that we created a moment ago. So what we want to do is to come all the way down here to the sign up button. Click on this gear icon. And then we're going to come over here to the link and paste it like that. Click on save. And then save changes. Okay, now let's exit the Visual Builder. Let's copy this URL. In a moment, you'll know why. So I'm going to copy that. So when someone now comes to this page and they click on sign up, it's going to take them now to the VIP membership where they can enter the information here and sign up. So this is connected to PayPal. So that's how you connect this. So I want to make sure I connect this button here to the memberships. So let's go ahead and enable the Visual Builder. So I'm going to go into my settings. So for button 1, we need to add the URL. So I'm going to scroll down here to my link. And then for button 1 URL, I'm going to paste this. And this is now the Become a Member page. And let's go ahead and save. And let's save the page and exit the Visual Builder. So how this is going to work now is when someone lands on our main page here, they can read the information, and let's say they are pretty much happy with this. They can now click on Get Started. This now takes them to the memberships page, and here they can choose which membership to go with. So let's say they choose to go with the VIP. They can just go ahead and click on Sign Up. And now they're on the VIP membership. So we can further customize this page and add videos. We can also add even more content. So it's pretty much up to us how much content we need to add here to persuade more people to sign up to this membership. In fact, you know what? Why don't we go in and make a few updates to this so that it is more exciting for someone who wants to sign up for this VIP membership. Okay, so I'm going to click on Enable Visual Builder here. So let's start by adding another column. So I'm going to add 2 columns here. So on the left is where we have the payments, and then on the right here, I'm going to add some text. So let's go ahead and paste our text in here. Okay, so our main text here is Become a Member. I'm going to highlight it and set this to heading 3. And then on the top here, I'm just going to click on this drop down and choose my text. And now you can see it's updated. All right, great. So that's my text there. I'm also going to add a video over here. So I'm going to click on this plus button and search for my video module and select it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add an overlay image. So I'm going to click on this plus button to add my image. And the image I am going to go with is this one right here. Upload an image. And then I'm going to come all the way to the top here and choose my preset. So I'm going to go with this one here, the dark one. So anyone can see that this is a video with a play button, which is great. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, what I may also want to do is to add a testimonial. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click on this plus button, search for my testimonial like that. And I'm going to choose my option number 1. Okay, now let's add our image. So this is Anna. I'm going to add my text in here. And then finally, let's add our image. So here's Anna here, upload image. So that's my testimonial there. I'm going to hit save. So if we want the payment information to be on the right, we can just go into our row settings and then just flip this over like that. Let's go ahead and save. So now we have a bit of information about our membership here. We have our video and we also have our testimonial. So we may also want to give this a title. So let's do that. So let's add our text module. Let's set this to heading 4 and set our text and then save. So I'm just going to drag this to the top like that. And I'm also going to make sure that I have more space between my video here and my testimonial so that it just looks separate. And then I'm also going to reduce this gap by just dragging like that. Okay, so this looks much, much better now. So we have our form on the right And we also have a bit of information here on the left. So what we could also do here is we can also add our frequently asked questions. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click here and go for the regular section. And for this, I'm going to go with a single column and add my text module like that. Okay, so let's paste some text. And then I'm just going to give this a title. I'm going to highlight the text, set this to say heading 3, highlight everything, center it, and then I'm going to come to the top here and choose my preset. Okay, so that's my FAQs there. Let's also change the color because I want the background here to be dark. So I'm going to choose white. And I'm also going to choose my description text here to be white. Now let's save. Now on this background, we're going to click on this gear icon for my section settings and then go to the background here and choose my color. So the color I'm going to go with is a dark gray. So let's go with something like that. Maybe a bit more. Okay. Now let's save. The next step now is to add my module, which is an accordion. I'm going to select that. So this is the default style, but we don't want that. We want to choose our pre-made one, which is right here. So we can either go with that style or we can go with the darker version. But you know what? I think this one here works better because we have a dark background. So you can always go in here and update your text. And if you want to add more frequently asked questions, just duplicate this a few times and then you can go in and update that. All right, so now we can go ahead and save. So this is now our complete sales page for this VIP membership. So you want to do this to the other memberships so that they have a bit more information about what the membership is about. So everything is all connected now. Let's go ahead and create the dashboard. So back here on my site, I'm going to go to all pages and then go to my dashboard, click on edit. And then for this, I'm going to use the Divi builder. So let's build from scratch. And we are going to start with a single row. So in here, we're going to add our blog because this is the content that we need to show that all our users is going to have access to. So I'm going to set 3. In fact, let me set 6. And then over here on the design, let's go to our layout and set this to grid. So on the top here, we can set how we want this to look. So we have 2 designs. So I'm going to go with blog 2 and see what this looks like. And I think this is a decent one. And let's take a look at blog 1. No, let's go with this one here. Okay, so I'm going to go with this style. Let's go ahead and save that. So all I need to do is to make sure for this one here, it has an image so that everything looks really nice. So I'm going to address that in a moment. So let me add a title to this. So I'm going to click here on this plus button, text module. Then I'm just going to say all content. And then let's set this to say heading 3. And let's choose our preset here and then save. Right, so all I have to do now is to drag this to the top. So we're also going to give this section a background color so that it's distinguishable from pretty much everything on the page. So I'm just going to drag here until I get the shade of gray that I want. And I think this can work well. Let's go ahead and save. And we also need a page title here. So I'm going to click on this plus button, single column, and let's add our text module. I'm going to select it. And I'm just going to call this main dashboard. Set this to heading 2. Choose my preset. And let's center it. Okay. So all I have to do now is to drag this to the top like that. And what I also may do here is to add a line below the main dashboard here just to separate my content. So I'm going to come over here to design, border, go to the bottom line here and click on 1. But you can see it's a bit too dark there. So let's reduce it to just about there. Okay, so that looks much better now. And I'm also going to increase the gap here between my line and the rest of my content, just like that. Okay, so I think this is looking much, much better now. Let's say you want to add more content, downloadables or anything. You can always just add your section here and add that information. So now that we have our main dashboard, we're pretty much very close to completing our main site here. The next page we need to work on is the support page. So I'm going to come back. In fact, I'm going to exit the Visual Builder here. Now remember, when people try to access this, they are going to be able to access this content based on their membership levels. So if I click here, it's going to take them to their membership page. But you can see that this page doesn't look great. I'm sure you can agree with me. So I want to show you how we can go in and make our blog posts look really, really nice. So let's first address this issue here. So I'm going to come all the way down here to Divi and then click on Theme Builder. And let's click on this plus button and click on Build New Template. So the template we're going to build is going to be our blog post. So I'm going to click here on All Posts and create our template. So let's go ahead and go into our body. And then I'm going to click on Build Custom Body. So the first thing I'm going to do here is to add my main title area here. So I'm going to click on this plus button and let's add a single column. And in here, we're going to add some text. I'm going to select that. So what we need here is some dynamic content. So I'm going to click on Use Dynamic Content and we want our post archive. And let's click on this little gear icon and set this to heading 2. So it's H2, and then after we need the closing tag, which is H2 as well. I'm going to save that. And then on the top here, we're going to choose our preset. Okay, so now that we have that all set, let's just change the text color here to white because I'm going to add a design to this. I'm going to save that. And we are now going to come over here to the top to our section settings. Go to our background and we are going to now choose our background image right there and click on your dynamic content, choose your featured image, but we want to make things easier to read here. So we're going to make that a bit dark. So to make that a bit dark, we need to now come over here and choose black. And then we're just going to drag this down a little bit, just like that. So we are able to see our image over here. So back to our image tab, what we need to do now is to choose our blending mode. So right now it's set to normal. We need to set this to multiply. So now you can see we have a little tint here to our image. Right now it's not showing because we are in our template. Next, I'm going to click here on this plus button, go to regular, single column. So in here, we are going to add our post content and here it is. I'm going to select that. So what we need to do here is to click on this gear icon and just make sure that everything here is set to our right font. So I'm going to click here and choose Poppins as my font. I'm also going to do the same to my paragraph text. Select it. So we may need to increase the size here to about 16. The line height seems okay. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead now and save. I may want to reduce my padding here down to 4 and save the page. So this now has become the structure for all our blog posts on our website. So let's go ahead and save that. And what we're going to do is to take a look now at what we had earlier on, which is this design. But because now we've created our template over here, let's close out of here and save this one more time and make sure everything is in place. Okay, so now if I refresh this page, we are now going to get our new design that we've just created, which is this. Look at that. beautiful. We have our text here, and we also have our image here in the background with our page title over here on the top. So that's much, much better, and I'm sure you can agree with me. Okay, so let's move on to the next part, and that is to work on our contact page or our support page. So what we're going to do is we're going to click here on support, enable the visual builder. So let's build this from scratch. And again, we are going to need to add our title. So let's go for our text module. And I'm just going to call this support. I'm going to highlight the text, set this to heading 2, and then come over here to the top and choose my preset and save. Next, we are going to add another column. This time it's going to have 2 columns right there. And on the left here, we're just going to add an image. And let's choose our image here. So I'm going to go with that. Let's go ahead and save. And then over here, we're going to add a form. So we're just going to add a bit of adjustments here. I'm going to go and customize my button by coming over here. So let's choose our button color. In fact, we're going to go with our white text and an orange background. Let's choose our font here. So we've got our button font as the default. So we want this to be, say, Poppins. Select that, and that's much better. And also the text here. So we want all our field texts to be same font. Poppins. Excellent. So now I can go ahead and save. And this is looking much better now. So I'm going to save the page. So the next thing I'm going to do is to design our error page, because we want that when someone goes to the wrong membership level, they need to be redirected to an error page, which has a bit of information. Okay, so I'm going to exit here. And now let's create our error page by coming over here, clicking on page. Let's call this error. Use Divi Builder, build from scratch, and we are going to go with a single column. And let's go for a blurb and select it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are going to choose the style that works for this. So the style I'm going to go with is, let's go with number 2. Okay, so back over here. So here I'm going to say, sorry, the information you're trying to access is for members only. And then I'm going to add a call to action button. Okay, so let's further customize this. So first of all, I need to add an icon. So I'm going to come over here and choose an error icon. So let's go with this one here. So we did say we're going to go with style number 2. So there we go. So let's save that. And we also need a call to action button in here. So let's choose our button. And we are going to go with style number, let's try number 2. In fact, you know what? Let's go with number 1. And we're going to say view memberships. And let's go ahead and center this like that. So now we need to go to our memberships page and copy the URL. So I'm going to search for it. So this is the page. I'm going to copy the URL like that, and then come back over here. And this is what we need to add to this button here. So I'm going to click on content, go to link, button URL, and paste it in here, just like that. So since this is an error page, we don't need the header and the footer to this page. So now we need to edit page, save and exit. And then over here on the templates, we need to click on default and click on the drop down and choose blank. Okay, so now we're going to publish. Okay, so now we can save the page and exit the Visual Builder. So if we click here, this should take us now to our Become a Member page. So let's try that. And sure enough, it's now taking us to this page. So this next step in our design process is to add our logo and design our header and our footer part of our website. Let's go ahead and do that. So back over here, I'm going to go to my dashboard and let's come all the way down here to Divi and click on theme options. So what we need to do here is to upload our logo. So I'm going to click on upload, upload files, and I'm going to choose the logo, which is on my computer. So I'm going to select my logo like that, click on set logo, and then save changes. Next, we're going to come over here to the theme builder, because this is where we're going to add all our content for our header and also for our footer. So I'm going to start here by going into my global header and building the global header. So let's start adding our content. So I'm going to go into my rows, click on a single column, and in here, we're going to add our menu, select it. So first of all, I'm going to come to my logo here, and let's click on this dynamic icon here and set our site logo, which is what we uploaded a moment ago. But as you can see, it's way too big. We need to adjust it. So I'm going to come over here to design, and then we're going to come over here to, we're going to come over here to sizing. Okay, so logo width, we're going to reduce this all the way down until we are at a reasonable size, which I think 25% is great for my logo. All right, so the next step is to come over here to my layout. So it says left aligned. I'm going to, should I go for centered? So that's what it looks like when it's centered. But you know what? I'm going to keep it as left aligned. So now we're going to go to our menu text and set this to pop-ins. We're going to make it all caps. And we're going to make the text a bit darker like that. And we're also going to add a bit of letter spacing. And I think I'm going to make this semi-bold. All right, I think that's much better now. Okay, so far, that's what we have for our main logo there and our menu. So over here on our menu text, there's also something we can do. We can have our alignment over to the right, which I think is much better because the logo needs to be on its own on the left. And let's go ahead and save. Next, we can see that our padding here is way too much, so we need to reduce that. So I'm going to come over here to my section settings, go to my design, spacing, and I'm going to set this to 1%, both sides, and then save. And then over here now, I want to make sure that I reduce all the padding from my rows. So I'm going to go into my row setting, click on design. Let's go to our spacing and set this to 0 to both the top and the bottom. Then we're going to save. So far, everything is looking great. So what I may want to do here is to add a line that separates my header, or we can have a background color. So it's up to you how you want to do it. But for this, let's add a background color, just a slight gray like that. But you can see now inside here, we have a bit of white color, and this doesn't look great. So let's go into our row settings, background, and let's make this transparent. Save. And I'm also going to go into my menu and make sure that my background is also set to transparent. And now we are good to go. All right, so that's looking great. Later on, I'm going to add more links to our menu here. Let me also show you what we can do here. We can have a second menu, which is only for anyone who is logged in. So let's add it here. In fact, before we add it, we need to create it first. So let's save. Close out of here, save changes. So now when we come to any page on our site and refresh this, we now have a brand new header, which is fantastic. Now, if we want to make it sticky, we can also do that. And let me show you quickly how you can make it sticky. So let's go back into our main header area here. So what we want to do is to go into our section settings, advanced, come all the way down to scroll effects, and we want to make this stick to the top like that and save. So now we can also add some scroll effects. So remember, we added 1% to our padding. So let's go ahead and reduce that by coming over here to design, spacing. So we set this to 1%. So for our sticky, I'm going to click on this little icon here and then click on sticky. So we are going to reduce this to 0.5 like that, or we may even go as low as 0.2. Yes, I think that works. I'm going to save that. And now when I come over here to our site and refresh, notice what happens when I start scrolling. So notice what happens when I start scrolling. It's going to shrink a little bit. See that? Brilliant. And now it's stuck to the top. So all I have to do now is to save changes. Now let's create our global footer. So I'm going to come over here, build global footer. So for our footer here, I'm just going to keep things very, very, very basic. Okay, we're not going to have a footer with so much information. So let's add a single column. Let's add some text. Okay, so that's going to be our text right here. We're going to center it, and let's choose our text like that. The size is a bit too big, so let's reduce that by coming over here. And let's set this to maybe even 14. Okay, I'm going to save that. And let's give this a dark color. Okay, so I think I'm happy with that. So all I have to do now is to reduce my padding by coming over here to sizing, in fact to spacing. And right now we are on 8. So let's bring this down to about 2%. Save that, save one more time. So now instead of having that footer that we had, which is this one, if I refresh this now, we have this basic footer right here. But if you wanted to make this more advanced, we could add some pages, social media icons, and so on. But I'm just going to keep this very, very basic. All right, so that's our header and footer designed. So pretty much we are close. I'm going to add some links now to our main menu area. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to come over here, appearance, menus. So let's view all. So what I need now is to go to our dashboard and add it. We also need login. And we also have our support right there, so that's fine. Okay, so let's add the menu, drag support all the way down here, and we have our login as well. So now let's hit save. So let's refresh our page. And sure enough, we have all our links. So if I click on dashboard, it takes me to my main dashboard here, where we have all our content. And like I said, if you click here and you're not part of the membership, you will be kicked out. Now we also have our support page, and we also have our login page, but because we are already logged in, this won't show up. So there you have it. This is how you build a membership website from scratch. So let me know what you guys think. The links to everything that I've used in this tutorial are going to be in the video description below. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.